If I told you the things I've seen on my ways, if I told you the things I've done in my days, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So it's best I just don't say. I've lived 1,000 lives, I piloted 1,000 souls, I killed and fought and died just for a single role.
Hello. Uh-oh.
Yep.
That camera totally just got bumped. A little bit back. A little back this way.
Back towards you.
Did I do it?
All right. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. This is
Hi.
Wild Talents with immediate technical difficulties.
We're so impressively organized.
Amazing.
Dude, you have to marvel at our consistency.
Yes. I am Kimi. I am your GM, and I'm running this Wild West Wild Talents game. And Wild Talents is a D10 system. It's very fun. We are missing the amazing Samantha for a bit tonight, but she is going to be here a little bit later. So we should have lots and lots of fun. And my players to my left.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm playing Carla May Winthrop. She's a thief with a magical horse.
Magical horse.
Magical horse, super magical. My name is Jim, and I am playing El Jaguar, also known as Gustavo Dominguez, and he has a non-magical horse, but it's a cool horse anyway.
Yes.
Hi guys, I'm Joey, and I am playing Red Locke, a absolutely normal gambler who definitely has nothing special about him at all, especially not mind reading powers from the devil. I don't know what you heard, but it's a lie.
Man. That would preclude you from being a basic bitch.
Right?
All right. Awesome. So this is session 5 of this game. 5. It's a really old callback joke. Sorry, I am the only person at this table who gets that joke. And we do not have Samantha, who's our recap maven. She's fantastic. What we're going to do is we're going to actually start with some kind of flashback/love letter scenes. To establish a little bit more of the connections between all the characters. And then when she gets here, we'll do the recap with her, and then we will move on with where we are in the story, which is in the middle of a lot of crazy stuff.
Jesus Christ.
So many crazy things. I mean, he's one of the people who might show up.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
I'm kind of counting on it at this point.
Like, we literally have every other magical thing ever. Almost.
Yeah, it's every supernatural who's is been represented.
Yeah. And, which is fascinating, because I was like, I'll do superheroes in the West. It'll be cool, and they'll be like the Cyclops guy and all the things. Don't be Cyclops, he's the worst. But, all the and then it's like, oh, we are in Magicville. Okay, everybody's magic. Okay.
Well,
yes, and.
Look who you invited to the table.
No, I expected weird. At least some magic, but everybody went magic. It's okay.
I was thinking about going in more steampunky, that kind of direction with my original character concept, but you mentioned that you kind of didn't want to have anything to do with that Wild Wild West movie with the mechanical spider.
I just stole its name. It's fine.
So I shied away from that.
Yeah. No, I love your concept. I'm not complaining about your concepts at all. I love them so amazingly.
Hey, it's just direction this way go.
Yeah, and if someone had been a few months ago and I was planning this game, it's all going to be magic. I'd be like, no.
Well, it's funny, when I was working on the character, I was right. Is he going to fit? Is he going to be the really weird, odd one out? It's like, nah.
Nah.
I mean, I was going to do a regular thief, and then Jim said magic horse, and I didn't know what else to do.
In character creation decision, that was the best thing.
I was like, oh, all those points I was going to put, nothing. No, it's just all into horse.
Yes.
All points into horse.
All horse pants. Yes.
I was very happy to be your horse muse.
Yeah.
You're his Mustang?
Mustang.
Oh.
And the trophy goes to.
I'll be here all night.
Oh, that's amazing. All right. So for our levelers, I'd really like to establish kind of the scenes that we did character connections in our very first session when we created our town and all those things. So why don't we really quickly just go around the table, see if you remember, what brought your character to Rainbow Springs, and why are you there? Raise your hand if you're ready to answer this question.
I know I am.
Okay, good.
Well, he lives
There
here.
was kind of, there was kind of just like a look, and I was like, all right, why don't we start with you then, Jim?
Okay. Well, the reason my character is here is because of the sort of the Mesoamerican organization that or civilization that he was rescued by. They have located basically these focal points of energy around, the United States and all the way down to South America, and they have sort of dens where they have these Jaguar warriors sort of like be custodians of these wild areas where crazy wacky things happen, and their whole mission is to try to establish order in these places and discover and eliminate any type of supernatural threat that would endanger the natural balance of the world as their cosmology knows it. So this is my assignment, basically. This is my precinct. This is where I'm supposed to be and supposed to be taking care of this kind of stuff. And the Pueblo El Jaguar is one of the stations that have been set up here, over millennia as sort of base stations for these people to work out of. There used to be a lot more of us pre-Conquista, and now there are very few. So we're spread pretty thin and have a whole lot of work to do, especially since once the Europeans came, also came other magical threats along with them. So he's sort of in a tough spot and has to be pretty Johnny on the spot with everything, and that's why he's involved with all this stuff here, and why he's in this town. The whole alter ego thing is not necessarily something that really is a part of the order of the Jaguar warriors, but for him it's actually more convenient since he has to interact with slightly superstitious Western folk that really wouldn't understand what he's about. And so he decided to use that sort of the fear that people have of these supernatural things to his benefit. So he uses the superstition and he uses the fear as a weapon more than anything else. I mean, he's not really a bad guy, and he's not out there to kill people, but he will threaten to do horrible things to people if he feels that it is in his best interest, as we have already seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why he's here. He's literally a magical policeman.
Nice. Very good. And we've already kind of established that the reason the El Jaguar and all that stuff is here because of all like kind of the magical lines and the energies.
Exactly. This is a locus for magical energies.
Really?
What?
Who would have thought?
No.
Who would have thought?
Doesn't track.
All right. So let's jump to Red for a minute.
Yeah.
Red, why don't you tell me about the first day you came to Rainbow Springs?
The first day I came to Rainbow Springs, it was a little over a year ago. I had come. The last big city I was in was Dodge City, but I'd hit some smaller cities on the way in. And I came in looking to kind of bleed the town dry at this point. Like I was here for a more personal reason, but the first thing I wanted to do, like my instinct was to come in, take the town for all it's worth, get what I wanted, and then leave. And I haven't done that because I haven't been able to get my hands on the thing that I need. The money is set at what I want, but I haven't been able to get my hands on the thing that I need, which is in the bank. Which is, remember from character creation, my lover's safety deposit box.
Right.
Which hopefully give me some indication was why he left and shot me.
Be super interesting to find out.
Yeah, I'm very interested.
Cool.
Why would anybody want to shoot you?
Yeah, that's huge mystery.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm so amicable. But my first day, I think I would have got myself established in the saloon as far as having a place to stay, and more or less camped out there all day and took the town for all they were worth, or as often as I could, as much as I could.
And Carla May.
Yes.
Let's remind us why you came to this town.
Well, before coming here, Carla May is she's kind of been a nomad, kind of roaming from town to town and looking for, nefarious rich people who are doing naughty things and stealing all of their shit, and getting rid of it. So she had heard a rumor that there was a cattle baron in this area that had been up to no good, so she rode into town to check that out. I think probably the first day it was spent finding a place to stay and just kind of doing early reconnaissance, like asking townspeople, like, what new in town, looking for work. Like I have a strong horse, can get me from place to place quickly. Basically trying to establish a cover as like a freelance messenger delivery person, also doing her best to find out what the Winchesters are up to.
Nice.
So I'm imagining that was probably where her friendship with Rowena first struck out. They met the first day she was there, and so that's probably what the first day would be. I'd say.
A little bit of just historical information. We were some fans were sending me pictures of advertisements for Pony Express riders.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like young men, like 15 to 17, orphans preferred, must be ready to face death daily. It was just like straightforward and honest as fuck. We were just like, all right, wow. So crazy.
I feel like probably when she goes for these jobs, the people hiring are a little skeptical at first, but I think she probably has to do a couple of jobs for free to prove herself before anyone's going to hire her, because sexism. But yeah, she's probably been here longer than she's been in any other town, just because of the nature of the Winchester Manor and the difficulty she's had in trying to penetrate its defenses. So
cool. I would like then a scene with Red in the bank.
Okay.
It was the first time you've ever, it was like the first day you showed up to try and see if you can get what was in that deposit box. And I'm going to have Jim, your character, Gustavo is also in the bank just for business purposes. At the same time, maybe you're in line behind him or at the next thing. Did we establish names for the bankers?
We did, but he's not on the page. I might have it in my other notebook.
Okay, look real quick.
Too many notebooks.
Oh, I know I have. My notes are not organized, and I just write down names at random.
I'm in the right spot now. Rowena.
I have Carson Hayes as a bookkeeper. That's not the right one.
No, he's the bookkeeper for the Winchesters.
That's right.
Timber Falls, Timbertown. Rufus T. Willoughby?
Sounds.
Maybe.
I just have that written down here somewhere, but not connected to anything.
Rufus T. Willoughby.
Yeah, sure. Let's. I don't see that name anywhere else.
Anywhere else, that can be Rufus T. Willoughby.
If anyone on chat is like, no, Rufus T. Willoughby is the
so-and-so person. That's okay.
They don't remember.
They might.
They might.
They're really good
Yeah,
at
I'm
remembering things.
much better than I am
Right.
at anything.
It's like we're in the game.
Yeah, I don't know why Mike is super low tonight. All right.
We did name a lot of NPCs.
Yeah.
We did.
We did.
So many NPCs that we named.
That was just a ridiculously good brainstorm session. Session 0.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Whoa.
Holy
So
shit.
sorry.
And if I remember correctly, wasn't his son involved in some kind of fraud situation that you helped him get out of.
Was that the sheriff?
I thought that was the banker's son.
All right, there I am. Okay.
I vaguely remember that from character creation.
Dude, that does ring a bell a lot.
Oh God,
Oh,
we're all
jeez.
so good at this.
It's fine.
Where's Samantha?
Samantha has all the good notes.
We're lost without you.
Crying again, you hear
All right,
me?
so I apologize for the loud noise just a second ago. Earlier when I was setting up, I knocked off one of the things off the table and it unplugged and it pulled out the connection from my mic. So, so I apologize for the loud noise, but you can also hear me now, which is very exciting for me. And so, all right, so we're gonna go in. We'll just go with
Rufus T.
we'll just
Willoughby.
call him. Yeah, we'll go with Rufus T. Willoughby. We will go with that name, and if we have to retcon it,
We can retcon
it's
it.
fine.
Pencil, why are you being a dick?
All right, Rufus T. Willoughby. All right, so, Red, you walk into the bank, like very basic, and there's like the 3 little windows. It's before you'd put glass there, so they've got like the little grate thing that goes like partway down. But really, like if you wanted to just grab someone and like pull them through, like you can do that. There's a little counter. There's like the big safe in the back, but this is a pretty well-off town with lots of people coming through, but they don't need a huge amount of money storage. So it's a large size safe, but it's not like what you'd see in other like big cities and stuff like that. The like wall with the counter on it goes up almost to the ceiling, and there's like the little decorative ironwork up at the top of it. But there is like you could go over that if you needed to. And there's only one teller there, and that is Rufus T. Willoughby. There is another teller there who's there sometimes, but not.
Not now.
Yeah, not right now. Only in like big busy days, like when the cattle drive's coming through, things like that. So you walk in, and there's like a lady, and she's like holding a little kid's hand. The little boy is like pulling on it, and like kind of like drawing in the dust over on the corner of the floor, and like being really bored and little obnoxious, and then there's a gentleman behind her in line waiting to use and the teller's helping a young man who you wouldn't recognize him at this point because you're brand new to town,
Right.
and they're just doing their daily business.
Okay. I will have come dressed in my big city best, trying to kind of dazzle and try to talk my way through this whole situation. And trying to throw them off with, big city talk.
Mm-hmm. What does that sound like? No pressure.
No, not at all. Well, how do you do?
And who are you dressing the gentleman who's standing right in front of you, or?
I'll give a how'd you do to the woman with the child as I wait.
She kind of like nods at you.
So, this is it, right? Like, this is the only bank in town?
Well, yes, we're very pleased to have a bank of our own.
Oh, yes, it's very nice. It's a very nice bank. I just meant I wanted to make sure I was in the right place. Some cities as friendly as this and as open as this can sometimes have multiple locations for things like this. So I'll make sure I'm in the right location.
Oh.
And,
Well,
your name is?
My name is Milford.
Milford.
Yes, Mrs. Milford Worthington.
Well, how'd you do, Mrs. Milford?
I'm quite well, thank you. I've lived here all my life, so I wouldn't know what it was like in other big towns.
Oh, well, big cities aren't necessarily for everybody. If you have a nice little slice of heaven like this, I can't imagine why you may want to leave.
Oh, it is very nice, isn't it?
It is utterly singular.
She doesn't laugh like that. That was Kimi. Okay. She kind of glances nervously at the gentleman behind you in line because you kind of like walked up to talk with her, and she's enjoying the conversation, but there's kind of like the mom, like, oh, he's cutting. All right, look. Sorry, the teacher and me can't let that go. what brings you? I'm sorry. What was your name?
Oh, forgive me. I am Mr. Locke, if you will. Red to my friends.
Oh, well, Mr. Locke, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Oh, no, you can call me Red.
Oh, I couldn't.
Oh, but you could. I insist.
Mrs. Worthington, remember?
Oh, of course.
So, little Stevie, cut it out! Don't touch that! I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's cloud.
Stop it! Yes, so,
They are a treasure.
they bring so much joy to your life. So, you were saying, I'm sorry.
I'm just here on some business on my way through town. What can you tell me about this gentleman here who's running this little show? I just like to know who I'm dealing with.
Running the show is in the bank?
Yeah.
Oh, Rufus? I mean, Mr. Willoughby?
Yeah, Mr. Willoughby. Yeah, what can you tell me about him? He seems like a pretty easygoing fellow. I just like to know who I'm dealing with.
Well, yeah, his daddy owned the bank before he did, and, well, he can count. That's good for a banker.
I suppose.
She kind of lowers her voice. I don't know if he's passionate about it, but he keeps things going. He doesn't take excellent care. She kind of looks around at the dust in the bank of things. He's known from time to time to Christians shouldn't speak of such things.
Oh no, it's quite all right, as they say in the big city. If you have nothing nice to say, come sit next to me.
Do they say that? That's smart. I'm gonna write that down, and I'm gonna remember to say
Please
that.
do. But go ahead, continue. Who am I gonna tell? I'm gonna be in and out of town in a few days.
Right. Well, I mean, they say that he has a bit of a habit of borrowing from his own bank. I mean, he pays it back, according to everyone. Nobody's come up short yet.
Well, at least nobody's come up short yet.
Yeah, I mean, I keep my money here. Not that there's a lot of it or many choices, but Rufus never done anyone any harm.
No, of course not. And any little thing as they say, to err is human.
To air. I don't know if I've ever smelled air that smelled like human.
Red just kind of takes a moment. These simple folk. I'm going to bleed them dry.
You will.
Well, I will let you get back to your business.
Yeah, about that time, Rufus waves her forward.
Perfect.
And about that time, a very distinguished-looking gentleman in very fine clothes comes walking into the bank. That's you.
Oh. I walk into the bank and basically I walk through the front door. I take off my hat. I have a satchel over my shoulder, and my clothes, although fine, are dusty from riding.
Mm-hmm.
I see little Stevie, who's running amok, going crazy, and basically he runs past me, and I just sort of grab him by the neck of the collar, and I pull him back, and I pull a bag out of my pocket, and there's some licorice in there, and I go, "This is for you if you behave."
His mother is already up at the counter, handling the business and kind of ignoring.
I let him have some licorice, and I just muscle his hair, and I just go into the line.
He grins and shoves it in his mouth and is doing the kind of sucking, obnoxious chewing thing kids do. But he plops himself down and looks super happy and is not running around and messing things up.
I eyeball Red as someone that I haven't seen in town before, and I approach him.
Okay. So he's in. Have you gone back to your spot in line?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've gone down behind. There's a gentleman that you know, is one of like the Winchester's cattle hands, like kind of a nobody, and he's the head of this new guy in line. And then, so you approach him, which is also the back of the line.
I go, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I couldn't help noticing how well you handled your son, Mr. Worthington. You truly have a way with children.
Well, I have a way with people, that is for sure. Especially when you have something that they want. I'm pretty sure you look like the kind that knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I tend to be the person who knows what people want.
Indeed. You are new to town and finely dressed, and in the bank. My name is Gustavo Dominguez. I am a rancher nearby the town.
Oh, apologies for assuming who you were. Mr. Locke.
Mr. Locke, a pleasure to meet you. What brings you to Rainbow Springs?
Just some business here in the bank. An old associate of mine left something for me here. Should be in and out of town in a couple days.
You are very informative and forthright about your scheduling. I hope that you have a very pleasant time here. I'm hoping that your business is. And takes a swig out of this flask, and offers you a swig if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah, it's friendly. Friendly's as friendly does.
Is concluded to your satisfaction. This is a very simple and quaint town with lovely people.
Yes, the people here are quite lovely. I'm hoping to maybe mix a little bit of pleasure with my business. Tell me, are you a gambling man, sir?
Only with my life, senor.
Well, that seems rather ridiculous.
That was a fantastic look on your face, Joey. That was amazing.
I mean, one has countless ways of getting money. One really only has one life to live.
So I'm going to pause this for just a moment. Does Carla May have any banking to do today?
She basically, if she's going to the bank, it's to do business for like the assayer's office to drop off some. If she had to do a delivery, pick up some cash, bring it to the bank, she'll do that errand.
Okay, we'll say that there's an errand there, and this is about the time you walk in and you see Gustavo. Do you know Gustavo already, or are you newer to town still at this point?
I'd say I'm probably still I'm new to town, but I've definitely heard of him because I've been asking who's rich.
Okay. All right.
I don't know that I've actually seen him yet.
Okay.
But I think she'd probably identify him as someone of means.
Yes. Oh, yes.
But Carla coming in right now, she's going to be all dusty from the road. She's not someone that these two distinguished gentlemen might take a look at.
And is Gustavo, because like in my head, because I've known way too many like cowboys, I have way too much stuff myself. Like I just imagine like silver work, like tasteful, beautiful, but like the handle of his pistol has like silver work in it, and like
he does
belt
not
buckle.
carry a pistol.
Oh, that's right. You said that already. I apologize. But like his like belt buckle.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like
silver with like a lapis lazuli a horse on it. There's brocade work on his vest.
Yep. Like the band on his hat has like leather with like the little little silver
coin
type stuff.
Things.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
nice.
He wears a bolero hat with that.
I have like all that stuff. That was like my obsession when I was showing horses.
And sort of in a very Mexican style ranchero type of outfit. He has a thin mustache, no beard. He's clean cut with short hair, short dark hair, and like you said. And he actually has a duster coat on top to cover the actual suit underneath because it actually is very finely made. So the duster is there to protect it from the dust of the ride.
Nice. So Carla May walks in. You have this big bag of like the mail and stuff probably also gets organized through the bank because it's like one of the more organized places. So you probably have a big bag of like mail and different delivery stuff that you're coming in, and you see Gustavo, Don Dominguez, or someone who you probably identify, especially by his belt buckle and stuff, as that speaking to another person you don't know and someone you haven't heard of, that at least that you can identify, who's dressed with a gray hat and a beautiful pocket watch.
Finely dressed, pocket watch, 2 pistols, one jet black, other mother of pearl handle.
Cool. Yeah, Carla definitely has her sidearm on while she's... Because she just got off the road, and she needs to be armed for that.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, she would probably come in and notice that these two are in line chatting and just kind of hang back and eavesdrop a bit if she can.
Sure. I mean, you would have to get in line to hand Willoughby, or Mr. Willoughby, Rufus Willoughby, the satchel of stuff. So.
Also, if they're engrossed in their conversation and Mrs. Worthington has finished her business, she will have no problem just cutting them and going right to them.
Okay. Yeah, Miss Milford's probably at this point like gone over. Where did you get? What are you eating? Like grabs little Stevie's hand and they like head out. And then the cattle hand for the Winchesters. I don't know if you'd even notice him. He's like recognize him because he's so low down on their hierarchy of importance. Like he literally like changes the straw in the
shovels poop.
He's wearing a red shirt.
Yeah. And that's the only thing. And he's at the teller right now.
Actually, strike that. She would not cut them because she's going to wait and see what business they have here at the bank.
Okay.
That's
Demas in your luck. Has someone shown you around town?
Well, not as of yet. I've just gotten to town today.
I would be happy to show you the sights and introduce you to, I am assuming that you are here for games of chance, to the barkeep that handles the establishment where most of that gaming happens.
Not really most appreciated. I'd like to read his mind. I want to see what I can do to get him to join me in a game of chance so I can start fleecing him.
Okay. Gustavo, do you have any powers or anything that...
I have no powers.
No, but I mean, like, are there any, like, magical things about anything you're carrying that might interfere or have any impact on that?
Not really, no.
Okay.
No. That's where we got in a bad situation. He read my mind and found out where my freaking there is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're going to go with 4 8s.
That'll do it. Mm-hmm. So, look at this. Real life playing out just like our fiction that we planned.
I know.
Well
yes.
done. That would have been amazing if you'd missed that roll.
Right.
Retcon everything.
Boop, boop, boop.
Doot. All right. So, yeah. So, he reads, you read his mind, and what does he see? You don't have to tell him absolutely everything, but what do you think he gleans off of you? I'm going to give that Gustavo probably has done some training to like harden his mind.
But
and, yeah.
I'm going to go with this. I think this is actually kind of fun. You peer into his mind and you sense a little suspicion of you.
Mm-hmm.
And as you start delving deeper, especially when you start looking for ideas of wealth, you actually see a panorama of a gigantic city of gold. Ziggurats made out of shining gold. People dressed, covered in silver and semi-precious jewels. Just this magnificent, sort of dream-like city of gold, of the stories that you've heard of since you were a child. And then, all of a sudden, and this is a vision of you sort of walking into this town and sort of looking around in wonderment, and then all of a sudden you just turn this corner into this alley and everything turns black, and all you see is sort of this Jaguar just like scream at you and you just pop out of it.
Nice.
I love it. I love it. It's so
very good.
Yes, I would very much appreciate a tour. I find you quite intriguing.
You are quite flush, my friend. Are you sure you are fine?
I'm not quite used to all of this heat. I'm more used to a more humid heat. The dry heat is a bit different for me.
Oh, it is very difficult to get to move from one to the other. Your throat does get quite parched in this place. It gets very dry. But just yet another reason for us to adjourn to the saloon once we are done with our business here.
I very much look forward to it.
Oh, it looks like the window is open. Please.
Well, thank you kindly.
And Ben Shovelin, which is the guy from...
Nice.
Thank you.
Ben Shovelin.
Ben Shovelin.
Ben Shovelin.
That should have been Timmy.
Oh my god, I love it so much. Oh, it's so good.
Has just left the window and walked off. And yes, he's gesturing for you, Red, to come up to the window.
Well, how'd you do?
Can I help you?
You absolutely can. An associate of mine left something here for me in a safety deposit box. I'm looking for the deposit box for a Levi Coleman.
One moment, please. He walks more slowly than you'd want.
Oh no, the internal is the what's her face from Zootopia at the DMV?
Yes.
Judy Hopps is what's going on in my head.
Yes. He goes over. There's there's like a list on the wall, and he's like looking at it. What was your name?
The name of my associate was Mr. Coleman, Mr. Levi Coleman. He was supposed to leave something here for me.
Yes, I have to know your name to know if he left it for you.
Look, I am here just for a few days. This would go so much quicker if you would just allow me to get what I came here for. I am here at the behest of Mr. Coleman. I don't know why my name is so important.
Well, if he left something for you, it would have your name on it. He's not laughing. He's laughing.
No.
Sorry.
Locke.
Locke.
Mr. Locke.
Mr. Locke. Nope. Nothing for you.
Well, look, I'm sure that it's in the box. If you just let me look at the box, I'm sure I could identify it for you.
Well, you might be able to identify it, but I can't give it to you if he didn't leave a note for you.
Look, Mr. Willoughby?
Willoughby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Rufus T. Willoughby.
You sure are.
You named him Rufus. It's your fault.
I did. I'm aware. I don't know what kind of establishment you're running here.
It's a bank.
God damn it. I am in need of what is in that box. I was told to come here by Mr. Coleman to receive what was in the box. Mm-hmm. It is not that difficult. It is not like borrowing money or anything crazy like that.
No, you can borrow money without a note from Mr. Levi Coleman, but you can't take things unless you put your name on them.
Of course, I'll have to telegram him then and get this straightened out, won't I?
That would be best. Telegraph office is a couple doors down.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Sigh. About face. That drink?
You know, I can take care of my banking business later.
Good.
Let's go. Señorita,
Thank you.
good day.
Hello, ma'am.
I'm not going to do anything interesting here except for deposit my money.
Okay.
I don't know how to get around this.
Well, you just heard them talk about getting a drink.
Yep.
So you have a pretty good idea probably of where they're headed.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do my business, and I will head over to the saloon after I'm done with that. I'm gonna follow these interesting fellows.
Okay. So you do your business in a little bit longer time than you'd like.
Sure. There's mail and there's deposit
And it's Rufus T. Willoughby.
Oh, Rufus.
He's very polite and
Very
very
thorough.
calm and thorough. I'm sorry, you have to say it like that. You have to say thorough.
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 I'm surprised with his thoroughness that no one's caught on to his money laundering scheme yet.
He speaks slow.
Hmm.
And it's also just a rumor, so maybe it's not true.
Was that your first time at the bank?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rufus, that gentleman was up here for quite a while.
Yes, he was upset that he didn't have his name on anything.
And his name?
Levi something.
Okay. Well, thank you, and I'll see you back here usual time next week.
Yes, he said he was going to telegram his friend and get it all sorted out. I'm sure that he will. He must be on the up and up. Who would walk into a bank and demand for something that wasn't theirs?
Exactly. Who would do such a thing?
Doesn't seem like a very good idea.
Not a man as impeccably dressed as the one that we just saw, of course. Thank you, Rufus.
Impeccably dressed, yes. Very nice hat. Have a good day, Miss. Would he know you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've this is probably my second or third time in here. We're just getting to know each other.
Okay. Have a good day, Miss May. Winthrop.
Thanks. Thank you. I'll kind of head over.
Ay, Dios mío, this is the most magnificent horse I've ever seen in my entire life.
Standing outside. They're standing outside checking out your ride, dude.
No, Strawberry's
That's
not,
just horse.
No, Strawberry's not there. Strawberry's not there.
Oh, sorry, there.
That would have been amazing.
No, she doesn't really. I think at this point she's not really seen around town at all. Like,
Okay.
You keep her on the DL.
Yeah. Yeah. She's not just.
You're like the mail person who like walks into town carrying the mail bag. They're like, "How did you get here in like 2 days?"
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. All right.
So I escort Red over, or Mr. Locke over to the saloon. I introduce him to the barkeep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which I think at this point would still be Flora, wouldn't it? Because it's before the...
Yeah, if it's before, then it would be Flora.
yeah.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
Flora. Good afternoon. I have just made a new acquaintance. This is Mr. Locke. I would like to buy him a drink.
How'd you do, ma'am?
It is a pleasure to meet you. What would you like to drink?
Well, I'm new to town. What would you recommend?
Did they not have drinks where you come from?
They had drinks where I came from, but I want to know if this saloon has a specialty.
Everything is special in our saloon. Everything.
As you can see, everything in this saloon is very special. 2 mezcals, por favor.
Anything for you. What should you call you? Does anybody call you by your first name at all in town? Other than like them later?
I'm thinking Dawn is what everybody calls it.
Okay. All right. Dawn is like the shortened version.
Yeah.
When they're being formal, it's Don Dominguez.
Don Dominguez.
Okay.
Don. Yeah.
Right. Anything for you, Don.
I'm particular to mezcal. But that is a personal choice. Their whiskey here is passable.
Well, I will try anything twice.
You're a good man. Of an open mind.
She comes over with them. She's kind of like eyeing Red.
I shoot her a smile.
Is this a business acquaintance of yours, Don?
I met him at the bank. He was taking care of
She's got
some
like
business.
blue glasses. She's
Yes,
kind
of
of
course she does. I love her.
And since he was new to town, I decided to be, como se dice ustedes, the hospitable kind and show him around.
Very good.
I actually was hoping to rent a room from you, if you don't mind. I was only planning on being here a few days, but my business may take a bit longer than I anticipated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course we have rooms to let. We would be happy to have your business and have you here with us.
I'm so glad to hear that. Couldn't help notice those poker tables over there. Do you get much use?
Occasionally. Are you a poker player? Are you looking for a job dealing? Because I don't know if we have enough work for that here.
Oh, I'm not necessarily looking to deal, but I am definitely looking to play.
Oh, well, we could probably arrange. We have a part-time dealer who comes in right now. We could probably arrange for him to be here later.
Well, that'd be fantastic. Will you join me, sir? I know you didn't mention that you weren't necessarily a big gambling man, but just a little bit. Maybe just enough to cover the tab for these drinks.
Senor, he pulls out his billfold, and he pulls out a crispy $1 full bill.
I can smell it from here.
Yeah, and he puts it down on the table, and he goes, "You win."
Aw.
Oh, well, you're no fun.
I am much fun in different ways, but I am not much for gambling.
Come in anytime you're here.
I simply see it as a pastime where I spend a little money. I do not trust in luck much. I make my own.
Very wise words, sir.
But
a man should make his own luck.
Agreed. But you will find that there are plenty of people in this town that are willing to play your game. And I wish you luck.
That's when Carla comes in.
That's very good timing.
And she's gonna come. She's gonna come in. She's coming in hot. She's like, hey, Flora, how you doing?
Hello. What was she?
I've been here for like 2 weeks, so
Okay.
she's probably.
Did you stay here a few nights before you found the boarding house?
No, I probably went straight to Hepzibah's, but I've been
Okay.
in here fairly regularly. Like
Okay.
usually, after I make a delivery, I come by for a
Okay.
winds down drink.
Yes.
So
Good to see you, Miss. I keep calling you Miss May because it's a very kind of Southern thing to call people by their middle name. Okay. So just clarifying that would she be okay with that, Carla May?
absolutely.
Okay.
I did say absolutely just then.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a choice you made.
That was fantastic.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Of course, Miss May.
The usual, which is double whiskey.
Okay. Perfect. She knows that,
Yep.
and she gets it for you.
Oh, howdy, gentlemen.
Senorita?
Seems like we're going to the same places all day long today.
This town has maybe 8 buildings. It's not difficult.
Accurate point.
Would you like to join us?
Oh, what are you all up to this afternoon?
Well, forgive me, I am very rude. My name is Don Gustavo Dominguez, and this is my friend Mr. Locke. We have just met, and I was buying him a drink. Would you like to join us?
Oh, sure thing. Carla May Winthrop. I do work here for the assayer's office, and just finished a delivery, so I'm here to unwind at the end of the day.
Ah, yes, I remember hearing a rumor of you, the new woman courier.
Is that a bit unusual for you? I take it.
Not for me, but for many folks, it is. In
Well, I
my
assure
family, it
you.
is not uncommon for women to do anything they want.
In the bigger cities, it wouldn't be that strange.
The Flora hands you the drink, and it's like, well, the thing they're really talking about, honey, is how fast you are. You beat out everybody. Sorry, I'm losing my accent. Or my voice for her. I keep swapping it around. She wasn't quite that. Her accent's a little less than most of the other characters so far.
Well, my daddy said it seemed like I was born on a horse, so guess I've learned some tricks along the years.
That's very impressive. We're all very proud of you.
Well, thank you. I'm saluting. So, you gents just drinking here today, or you?
Well, I'm trying to get a game together, but Mr. Don Dominguez doesn't seem to be interested much in playing cards. What about you? You seem to be willing to take some chances.
I could always go for a few hands, Mr. Dominguez. What is he? Don't have the scratch to pony up for an ante?
Oh, I assure you that is not the case. I'm simply not interested in giving my money away and entertaining the person that takes it.
Well, if you maybe you could do a lady a favor and play a hand with the two of us.
Well, okay. I'll play a few hands. But after that, I must finish my business at the bank and go back to my ranch.
And which ranch is that again?
Rancho Santo Dominguez is a sheep ranch to the south of town. I have a few acres.
Well, you must do very well to have such crisp $1 bills in your billfold.
Oh, well, I do well enough for myself. I am a landowner, and I come from a well-established family.
And do you do a lot of business in town?
Well, my ranch being a short ride from here, this is the town where I primarily do my business. Luckily, most of the other ranchos around here handle cattle, and it's very profitable to do something different than nobody else does.
Oh yeah, not competing with those Winchester boys must be a relief to you.
Oh yeah, and he spits in a spittoon. The Winchesters, they do very well for themselves in this town, and it is smart business to not compete with them.
Well, they seem to be the big fish in town, from what I'm hearing. As I'm shuffling
Yeah, we're
cards.
sitting down to play.
Yeah.
It's like I would say that the size of their fish is quite impressive. Yes, no, I'm familiar with that term. But so remind me, it's 5 cards.
There's a big old grin on his face. It's going to be like shooting fish in a small pond.
Yeah, girls gonna be like, "Oh, you're a sandbagger, aren't you? You're just setting us up here."
I would not know at all what you are talking about.
No, but I am.
So, I assume we're started. I wish we had Carla. I wish we could just
I
play
know.
it like right now
Yeah.
as we're talking. So, you had many run-ins with these Winchester folks. They cause you any trouble out there on your ranch?
No, they are simply just another ranch, and since since there is plenty of room between his ranch and mine, we don't really cross grazing area. I've never had any conflict with them. But they simply seem to they hold a lot of power in this town.
I can see that. Red, who wins the first hand?
Carla May does.
All right.
All right. Taking your money that, I don't know, I have no idea what the stakes are at this point. Low. Stakes.
We'll go with Well, if we're going to lull him into bigger bids, I don't think you have any money. So
Okay, I have enough money to maybe win a couple of hands and then get out. But so what brings you into town?
just some business for the former associate of mine. Do you happen to know the name Levi Coleman? He was from this town.
How long ago did he come into town?
Would I know Levi Cole?
Yeah.
How long was he here?
I don't know for sure. I believe that he grew up here,
Oh, okay.
just based on the information I found in like his stuff after he left. This is the only city that I could find
Okay.
that was among all the stuff. So based on what I found, I've thought that maybe he grew up here or spent a decent amount of his young adulthood here.
Okay.
But I don't know for sure.
Then yeah, Gustavo, I think you might know him, and you can kind of make up how you know him.
Levi. That sounds very familiar.
I think he would have been gone by the time
Yeah,
you showed
I
up.
don't think I would have.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
That sound. What did this gentleman look like?
Oh, tall, kind of slim, dark hair, blue eyes,
Oh, yes.
Devastatingly handsome.
rugged.
Didn't wear
Yeah.
gray.
I believe I remember that the gentleman you are speaking of.
for folks at home, if you wanted visual image, Mutt from Schitt's Creek.
I love that show. Levi. I remember this show. Yes. Huh. He left, I would say, 6 months ago, something like that. Or no, longer than that. But he left in a hurry. That's all I remember. One day he was here, and the next day he was gone.
Didn't have to mention where he was going.
He didn't particularly... he wasn't particularly chatty. I believe he had some dealings with the Winchesters.
Really?
He did some work for them. Not exactly sure what it was, but he did some work for them.
And these Winchesters, they're in the cattle business, right?
Yes, they are the largest cattle concern in the entire territory.
Good to know. I'm going to have to make a call on them. Maybe they can help pull some weight at the bank and get me the stuff that I need.
Be careful over there. Winchester likes to keep to his own and does not take kindly to too many visitors.
Well, you being one of the landed gentry in this town, I assume you've been over to his place. Like, I gotta know, is it beautiful inside there?
I've only been outside. I've never been invited into the manse proper.
Oh, that's too bad.
But it is a lovely, lovely estate. He owns many, many acres, all the way across, all the way down the river. But he is obviously a very wealthy man and a very good businessman.
I lost again. There must be some kind of luck in this town or something.
No one but Red notices that as Flora's walking by, that she kind of rolls her eyes. She's seen people lose at cards on purpose.
Sure. Sure, I don't have anything right now. Thank you.
But then again, it's not unusual for people to have dealings with the Winchesters in this town. Like I said, they own a large amount of the territory. They do most of the business, and most of the people here actually work for them. Most of my hands actually just stay at my ranch. Very rarely do they spend too much time here in town. That several of them actually have difficulty with the language.
I'm sure they're kept plenty busy guarding your flock from the wild beasts around here, no?
You know, it's actually quite interesting. This is a fantastic territory. From what I understand, the mythology is that this place was rampant with wolves, and something happened to push them across the river. We never see, other than the odd polecat or coyote, not many predators around. But the thing is that there are several ranches here, and the territories are very well marked, but animals tend to wander, so it is imperative to keep your eye on them and make sure that they do not fall into the hands of someone else and wander off to where they're not supposed to be.
I don't know, they must be pretty brave to face a jaguar.
A man with a rifle versus a jaguar, all you have to have is alertness, but at night, your chances are slim.
Now, a man of your means, you must have interests outside of ranching. Like, what's a gentleman like you doing in his spare time?
Oh, me? I like to paint, drink. I like to dance.
At this point, a group of 3 gentlemen come in and sit a little bit farther away from you at one of the tables. That's
I actually also breed pintos, and I make a fairly decent living at selling riding animals.
Do any of us do I recognize these gentlemen who have come in?
Nope.
What are they? Are they like?
You're sitting and ordering drinks, it looks like.
Okay. Are they like big, strong men? Or are they like...
Are they dressed like people that are
Would
probably
that
working
matter?
in, or-
It does. Carla's sizing up.
Okay.
She's sizing up these guys. She
Okay.
wants to know what they're. She's always thinking about the best ways to.
Okay.
If a fight were to happen. So I'm just curious as to.
You don't recognize them. Two of the guys are pretty big. Like, they can handle themselves. And the third guy is a little bit smaller, but you can tell from the way he moves, even though he's not as burly, like, this is an agile guy, and he might actually, of the three, be kind of the most dangerous.
Sure. Okay. Just noting that.
Mm-hmm.
I give him a quick eyeball over the cards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recognize them either.
No.
I'm assuming. Okay. And they're dressed like just regular cowboy type guys. What's their style? of
Yeah.
dress?
Yeah, mostly just like regular. Like, you can tell they're kind of like they've been traveling, so you can kind of tell like they've got kind of the dusty, just off the trail look. Really common. They could be cattle ranchers. They could be people just traveling. They could be like a number of things.
Okay.
But they also, you can tell they've got like the worn spots and sweat spots. So they've probably been in the sun. They probably just got off their horses.
I have a question. Are you dealing every hand, or is it rotating?
Oh, it can be rotating. I'm fine either way.
I'm going to say he's been dealing every hand. So
I'm
far.
dealing every hand up till now.
So just as a slight, I meant to mention this earlier, but before leaving the bank, I'd written a small note, and I slipped that note as I handed my cards back to Red.
Mm-hmm.
It just says, "Speak to me after the game."
Okay.
I kind of just shoot you a glance.
Not after the game. Speak to me alone later, because I didn't know there was a game about to happen.
That's fine.
Who would have known?
Regarding the three men, I'm going to eavesdrop on what they're ordering to drink. If it seems to be mid to high shelf, or mid to top shelf, I'm going to invite them over. Because clearly they have money to throw around.
Yep. It is not. They are ordering beer.
Okay. I'm not playing for peanuts.
I'm playing very casually, and if the whole thing about his body language and his attitude while he's playing is like, peasant's game. He's like, eh.
Right.
This is beneath me. But he's being very genial, and when he loses quite well, and when he wins, he doesn't really brag about it. He's like, oh, good luck for me.
Okay.
He's just very casual about it.
At some point you hear, like while you're playing, you hear from across, from like that direction.
Okay.
And when you guys, because you're all trained fighters and stuff, so I'm not going to be like, you roll to look and see if you notice the gasp. You notice that one of the gentlemen is holding Flora's wrists, like just one of them. Like she just put something down on the table and he grabbed it. And then one of the other guys has a pistol pointed at her. And they're trying to be subtle about it. You can tell they're like, give us your money. Like really quiet about it. Like they're trying not to like make a big scene, and they're hoping you guys don't notice.
Okay. I feel like there's going to be a series of looks here between all of us. Where
I just see the whole cowboy thing where it's like the shot of the eyes, and then go to the next person, the shot of the eyes, and looking back and forth, and then back to the scene of what's going on, just like the cards. I am going to pretend that I don't see anything.
Okay.
um,
I'm going to have you all roll perception, not for what's happening in the corner, but for what you read off each other.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
good.
Ooh. Perception is not my best. I got zilch.
You think there might be a gun over there.
Cool.
I've got a pair of 9s.
I got 3 10s.
Okay. Nice. I'm going to give you, like, I'm going to let them kind of explain what they're feeling first to you, Gustavo.
Okay.
So, Red, what are you feeling right now? You have to go first. Since
Oh, no, that makes perfect sense. Oh, no, I want to get involved, for sure. Because it's been a while since he's been in a gunfight, and he's
Mm-hmm.
He's got that itch in his fingertips.
Mm-hmm. So right there, so if he was looking at you, he'd see like like he could tell that you were like good with guns and that you were ready for this fight and you were calm.
Like an exhale, like getting ready to get in the zone of like, all right, this is gonna happen.
All right. So you can tell right away, both of you can tell that Red knows how to handle himself, and he's calm, he's centered, and
There's a bit of a wry smile.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so we're doing this.
this is how it's gonna happen. So Carla May, not what are you gonna do, but like if someone who could like read people perfectly like was to look at you in this moment, what would they notice?
They would see Carla's eyes flick down to her holster, and then that would basically be like the tell, and like she also, I'd say that like the shift in kind of like angling, like they basically see her getting ready to like pounce, to be like jump, like the tense ready to jump. So I guess, yeah, it would be like you can tell she's about to also get involved.
Okay. Very good. So you've seen both of these things. So Carla May and Gustavo, you both saw red. Okay. Gustavo, you saw both of them, but Carla, you didn't. We're gonna say that since Gustavo held the highest, you can tell he knows how to handle himself. Like you read, like while he's like calm, there's just almost like a trained calmness to it, but you can't read it quite as well as he read you. Does that make sense? So Gustavo, kind of just for our audience and just a slight gleam for Carla, what would she notice about you?
She's noticing that I have some cards in my hand, and I'm sort of like edging my thumbnail around the top edge of one of the cards.
Okay. Nice. Very good. Cool.
Just as in terms of like area and space, like I'm assuming there's like a bar, and then we're at a table like near the bar.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 tables near the bar, round tables. Yeah.
And they're there.
And then on one end is the stairs up to the kind of the rooms, and then on the other end is like the door and the swinging doors.
Swinging door, yeah. Okay.
Let's see what I'm gonna do here. So yeah, I guess Carla.
I mean, you guys are not in combat yet, is the thing. You guys are sitting. You've looked at each other over, and this is still happening in the side. And they've and at this point, Flora's kind of like walked, and there's like someone walking with her, and he's holding her wrist still, like tightly, but kind of almost like someone who didn't know Flora might not notice. And they're walking over to the bar. And the other 2 guys are staying seated. And the one who was holding a pistol up now has it, like, out of sight. They're under the table. But you can still kind of tell the way he's holding his arm that it's still there, kind of pointed.
Yeah, I'm definitely just going to go, like, kick off and tackle this bud.
Which one?
One with the gun.
The ones at the table? The big guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go for... Basically, the one that I saw with the gun is... It's going to be, like, a movement where... Kick away from the table, pull the knives out, and go for like the.
Okay. So you're you're kind of gonna start us off with.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you guys start to see start to see her, like stand up and head that direction. So we'll say that's what kicks off combat here.
Okay.
So then, what are our senses then? That's what our
Senses 4.
5.
4.
4. Okay. We're going to say that Carla May goes first just because she started
Yeah,
instigated combat. So she's already declared what she's going to do. So go ahead and go next, Red.
Yep. I'm going to not move from my chair, have my hand on my gun, and look over my shoulder at the guy holding Flora's wrist and give him a line blast.
Okay.
because I don't want to accidentally shoot her.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Yeah.
All right. And what happens, Gustavo?
Gustavo is basically, his whole thing is like, all right, I got this guy's faces. I'm just going to follow them, kill them, and bring back the money. That's his plan. But if they're knocking stuff off, he's ready to tussle. But basically, he's going to throw one of these playing cards in the eyes of one of the guys that's at the table holding it.
Nice, very good. So we'll just number. We'll just we'll letter then. Gentleman A is the one.
Well, let's know the pistol hand. That's where I'm going to go.
Okay, perfect. So gentleman A is the one holding Flora's wrist, and then B is the one that you know is pointing the gun, and C is sitting down at the table. Probably also, they're not in any order. This is just me writing the notes, just so we keep them straight. Is probably holding a gun too, but you haven't seen their gun. And there's two more brawny guys who are sitting at the table. The lighter, lithe guy is walking with Flora. And they are not going to actually take any actions this round against you guys because they're not prepared for you.
Yeah.
So next time then they will, hopefully, unless they're all dead by then, because who knows, maybe you'll burn them to death in a stone circle. That's a possibility.
That is definitely a possibility.
Always a possibility.
All right, get your dice out.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, very good. And roll your dice.
So I'm going for a stab, so I'm using my knife skills.
Okay.
Yep. I'm using my
Greatest
power.
Is this guy left-handed or right-handed?
He, B is left-handed, C is right-handed. You think they might be brothers. You're not sure.
We're gonna go with 4 10s.
Okay.
Oof-a-doof. I only rolled 8s.
So, since we haven't explored this, I want to ask, how does willpower work?
Willpower, like we said earlier, if you are doing something that is in your intrinsic or extrinsic motivations, you can gain a willpower. If you want to use your willpower to like supercharge your powers, you can spend one of those willpower to do that too. So that's how you gain and lose willpower. So willpower like maxes out your powers. So it's for those like climactic moments, like the end where like Jean Grey like stops the moon from falling or some crazy shit, and then like expends the last of her energy and like passes out and maybe dies. So that sort of thing. You can use it kind of whenever you want, but it does kind of like take your powers to that max level, and it does also make it harder to control your powers. So
Because my loyalty is shepherd the weak. Mm-hmm. So this is definitely within his total complete wheelhouse as far as that. So he actually has a vested interest in being very good at it. So I just wanted to know whether it was be a situation where I could spend some willpower and how that would affect the role.
yeah,
And so
you can. I know. Let me look real quick because I know there are some other ways you can use it to help other people as well. But I don't know if that applies to like NPCs.
Okay.
I think it would be like if you wanted someone on your team to get help and like help heal them or something like that. I believe you can use willpower dice for that. So why don't you call out for this first roll, and then while we do that, I can look this up.
well, I have 4 6s on the called shot to the hand.
I got 5 8s.
I got 4 10s for a mind blast to the face.
Damn.
I was gonna try and stab him in the gun wielding arm, but looks like I just stabbed him real good in the chest area.
In the chestular area, right there.
That's the magic of wild talents.
him.
Yeah.
His chesticle.
His
There
chesticle.
you
Ouch.
go. All right. Ooh, spending willpower. Sorry, before we use that. Willpower drives achievements. If circumstances are right, anytime you can give any number of willpower points to another character, give an ally strength to do what needs to be done at the last moment. Even better, you can say how the recipient is allowed to spend the willpower points you donate. Improvement. In some circumstances, you can spend willpower to improve a stat, skill, or miracle. Inspiration. If you just during the roll phase, if you can spend a point of willpower to gain 1 bonus die. Intuition. During the declaration phase, you can spend a point of willpower to move back 1 place in the order, so you can
Okay.
be a little. And then resist influence. You can spend a willpower point to buy off a point of width in any power that changes your body or mind.
What?
Yeah. So, and then to shake it off. So if you get damaged, you can do that too.
Cool. So,
Also to stay alive or to wake up if you get
oh,
unconscious.
nice.
Stay alive.
Alright.
Alright. Anyway, that's willpower. Do I have a thingy on this page? I should have a thingy on this page. There we go. Ha! Now I have a little tabby on the page. Okay. For those of you who can't see my little book, I have like 8 million little tabs in like 4 or 5 different colors to mark specific things in the Wild Talents book. Okay, so I'm sorry, say it again. You had the most with 5, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
5, 4, and 4. Okay, so Carla May hits first.
So yeah, I was basically looking for a jump over, like basically I'm jumping on his back and stabbing, and I was going for the arm to like make him drop his gun, but looks like I rolled some 8s.
Oops.
So I did stab him in his chestial area.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically like I've got 2 knives like stuck in this dude, and I'm hanging on his back like holding on.
Ouch. And what are the damage
Like
for
on
your
a
knives?
horse. They are within killing.
Oh. And you said you got 5.
Yeah, see.
And you had 2 knives.
Within killing, LAR, is that light armor resist 3? I don't know. I just wrote down numbers here, and I don't know. Wound box is 3. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that's fine. 1, 2,
Did I kill this
3,
dude?
4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you did.
Whoops.
If you'd only used 1 knife, you would have only half killed him.
Ah, dog.
Overachiever.
Overachiever. Well done. Wild Talents is a very killy system.
Oops.
Oops. So yeah, you like sink this into it. At first you were kind of aiming for his arm, right?
Yeah, I was just trying to, get the shoulder.
Yeah, but he ends up being faster than you expected. So he kind of like moves, but also like right into your knives by accident, because you see he was actually reacting to what he was saying over by the bar, which is actually what happens right as that's happening. Is the guy at the bar? What was your damage for your blast?
It's full power, non-lethal. I don't know. You want to look at it?
So I think it's shock damage, I believe.
Probably, yeah.
What? So you got 4.
4, yeah.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, because you one-shot these people's usually.
Yeah.
So it's not killing damage;
No,
it's shock
it's never-
damage.
yeah.
But his boss basically just collapses next to Flora at the bar, totally inexplicably, randomly, right now. So he starts to go, whoa, wait a second. So as the guy at the table starts to move towards his boss, he just happens to land, boom, right in the middle of where your knives are hitting. We're aiming for his arm. And then Gustavo, you had the 4
Yeah,
6s?
4 6s.
Yeah.
So it's just the shooting hand on the guy that's already dead anyway. So
Oh, okay, same guy. So there's one guy who's still at the table, Mr. C, and he like stands up and like does the whole thing where he like pushes his chair back and it falls behind him, and he's got his gun in his hand, and he reaches down and lifts up his other gun. All right, I know what's happened here, but nobody move.
I haven't moved yet. Sip.
Sorry, what happened to the guy with Flora?
He got
Collapsed.
blasted.
He got mind blasted. He's down.
You don't necessarily know what happened.
Yeah.
To you,
He
he
just
just collapsed, like randomly.
Sure.
He's just all passy-outy.
okay, I'm going to stand up with my hands up and go, Senor, let's talk about this.
All I want, he's looking at his friend who's like bleeding out next to him on the floor.
I think the best thing for you is to just simply walk away, Senor, with your life.
He turns and runs.
Now we take a shot at him.
Okay.
With your gun?
With my gun. With my gun.
Is he the only one?
Yeah, I'm gonna let him go. Whatever.
Okay.
His buds are down.
Do the thing.
That is 3 10s.
Oh. Yep. And what's your damage on your gun?
This is. Remember last time we had confusion about this in the book in the Civil War one, where it just says +1 SK.
+1 from wit to shocking killing.
Okay.
All right, so you did 1, 2, 3, 4 shocking killing damage, and it's a 0, which is his head.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep. So as he's running away, that is exactly 4, which is how many head slots they've got. Like he turns to run, and like
I finished
just,
my drink and.
Yeah, it's like that very cinematic moment where like Red sips, and then there's just like a spatter of like bloody cloud where his head was a moment ago,
Jesus.
and his body just boom slams straight into the floor.
Well, that was entertaining. Miss Flora, are you all right?
She's cursing up a storm, like those like, just ranting and I believe you said that they were Chinese when we made the town, correct?
Oh,
I believe Florin.
We didn't specify. I think we had. There was a big, major Chinese population among the railroad encampment.
I mean,
They
sure.
can't
Yeah,
be.
we're- I think
let's
we-
make it.
I think
Yeah,
we
There's
let's
no
are.
reason not to.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, I should have taken better notes, but I was having so much fun playing. So she like flips back and forth between Mandarin and what you assume are curses in Mandarin, and English, and a couple things in Spanish too, just like ranting about these a-holes. And
Going and fetching the sheriff.
okay, she kind of walks over and like kicks the guy who's laying on the ground, and not like super hard, but just kind of like jerk, like sort of thing. Then she goes behind the bar and she pulls off one of the top shelf bottles and pours herself a drink. Well, thank you for all your assistance.
Now, what did those fellas want with you?
Well, money. They were trying to rob me. I think they expected you were all too involved in your poker game to notice.
Foolish. They should know a good poker player knows exactly what's happening in the room he's playing in.
Mighty fine shot.
Wasn't anything. It's actually a lot easier to shoot sitting down.
Is Gustavo gone? Did you?
No, I'm walking out the door. It's much easier to shoot somebody when they're not facing you either. I'm going to go get the sheriff. I'll be right back.
The sheriff is like a few doors down.
Yeah.
So that takes like a couple minutes. So Flora's like pouring herself another drink. And you guys are kind of left alone to talk. She's not paying attention.
But the thing, it leaves the scene, everything's a mess, and there's literally a playing card jammed into somebody's hand.
One guy doesn't have a head. One guy's passed out. One guy's got a playing card in his hand.
I'm
It's a
pretty
little
sure it's a
crazy.
And also
45,
some
yeah, he does
knives
not
in
have a head.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
45s.
I have not removed the knives.
Yeah.
They're still in him.
Yeah.
You're quite handy with those blades, miss.
Well, lady's got to know how to handle herself when she's out on the road, doing deliveries, nighttime. You gotta make sure to have a certain set of skills. Skills that make me very dangerous for men like that.
Well, I'm glad to see you can handle yourself. I'd hate to see anything happen to you.
Now, is Flora away from us at this point?
Yeah.
Now, before our wealthy friend comes back, perhaps I might be able to help you with your situation at the bank.
I'm listening.
Well, it seems to me like you're trying to get someplace you aren't supposed to be.
What I want is what is rightfully mine. Unfortunately, your bank teller doesn't seem to agree.
I see. Well, I say I may have a little bit of knowledge on getting things that don't exactly belong to me. And I broke something. And if you'd maybe enjoy some assistance with your with what you're looking for, I may be able to offer some assistance if you were able to help me out with something I'm working on here myself.
Hey, look at that telepathy happening. That's weird. That's real cute that's happening right there. And we got 3 10s.
Okay. Are you reading her mind?
I am reading her mind.
Are you trying to contest? Like, would you have any? You said that you had like a little bit of resistance if Strawberry's around, but Strawberry's not around, right?
I mean, Carla wants to rob the rich people.
And she
not
basically
sure
just said
if,
that to him.
If Domingo, Dominguez?
Yeah. Or Gustavo.
Gustavo.
Yeah.
It's like, Gustavo, Winchesters, I'll rob any of them. And I will help you rob this bank if you can give me some more information on these people. As a gambling man, you might have a little more access to the men in town than a weirdo female pony expresser.
I believe that we can come to an agreement.
So when he reads your mind, he realizes you're on the up and up, and you're like legit with all these. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically, because I wanted to figure out she can handle herself with blades. She's insinuating she's a thief. I want to see how far down that rabbit hole that she goes.
Yeah. When you read her mind too, there's like a lot of like horses. Like horse is on the mind a lot. Like more than like you probably read like like horse girls before, but this is like a little excessive.
This is a horsewoman.
Yeah, this is a horse woman.
Full-fledged.
Yeah,
horse.
and it's like a specific horse. Like the most like not that you're like an outdoor cat,
Right.
But but even you would recognize a good ride when you see
It's
one.
a good horse.
Yeah, it's like even people who aren't into cars recognize a Lamborghini.
Right.
Like, you're like, all right, like that's a nice car. I don't know what it's called, but that's nice. So you also notice that.
Oh, I think we'd absolutely help each other out with this.
Seems like you've gotten in pretty well with our new acquaintance. I'd like to know more about what his business is outside of sheep ranching.
Well, I haven't gotten much out of him yet, but I'm sure if I enjoy more of his company, I'll be able to get a bit more. He is hiding a decent amount of wealth somewhere.
See, Sheriff, this... there's a lot of blood on the floor, so be very careful. But these gentlemen tried to rob this establishment, and these 2 newcomers to town seem to have stopped them from doing so.
Point of order. One of my connections in this story was with Sheriff Calvin Cross.
Maybe this is where you met Calvin. Or did
'cause
you have another?
His thing is he suspects me because he used to, I believe, work in another town that I robbed some people in. So I don't know if he recognizes me straight off the bat, or if just to let you know,
Yeah.
that was our connection. Is that he knows?
Okay.
He suspects Carla of some shady stuff.
Okay. So you look up and you see he wasn't a sheriff when you knew him. It was maybe a marshal or a deputy.
But
We'll
then,
say
they
deputy.
shot the sheriff, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did not.
No.
shoot- no. So anyway, so he was Deputy Calvin Cross when you knew him.
I'm looking at
Oh.
my. Go ahead.
That's okay.
I was just looking at my connection page.
Yeah. And he's kind of looking around, looking at the bodies, looks up and he sees you, Carla May. And his eyes like narrow a little. Don Dominguez, you said that the young lady here is the one who took care of this one. He kind of like nudges it with his toe.
It all happened so fast, Sheriff. I do not know. I just everything was a blur. They come in. I was looking at my cards. Next thing I know, this young woman exploded from her chair and jumped that man who had a pistol in his hand. I didn't even know, and the other one just sort of fell down. I have no idea. And the other one, I told, hey, perhaps the best thing for you to do is to leave. And he held his pistols up, and this gentleman took the threatening stance seriously and decided to ventilate his skull with an incredible shot.
He kind of like looks down at the handiwork, kind of nods, and looks over at Red. Looks a little surprised, but hides it kind of well.
I've always been lucky.
Well, that is more than luck. I could shoot at a man 1,000 times and probably not make a shot quite like that, and I'm a fine shot.
Well, Sheriff, if you talk to Miss Flora here, I think she'll let you know that what
I think
we
that's
did here
quite
was-
enough out of you, Miss May. Or no, he'd probably call you Miss Winthrop.
Yeah.
Miss Winthrop. Why don't we leave the sheriff into the sheriff?
Well, if you wouldn't mind one more piece of advice, I might tie that man up. He was still breathing last I checked.
Oh, yeah. There is
The one that
no
isn't
blood
bleeding.
in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will do that. He
Is it
like
the one that still has blood in him.
he like leans out the door.
The non-leaky one.
Yeah, he like leans out the saloon door and like does the like the super loud whistle that just like reverberates all through town. And if you were outside, you would see like, oh, the deputy like jumps out of the sheriff's office and comes running down the street as fast as he can.
Oh, Gomer.
Exactly. His name can be Gomer.
Yay!
Deputy Gomer.
Yeah. Deputy, take this man and put him in lockup. He like he's got like the cowboy boots with like the little silver tip on them. He kind of like taps the guy you mind blasted with that. Make sure it's locked good and tight too. He probably knows his way around picking a lock or so. So Gomer like starts grabbing the guy and like starts dragging him down the street. So and when he gets out on the little porch, like some other like people from the town like grab his legs and they kind of carry him down the
Help
street.
him out.
Yeah, it's a small town. You'll excuse me for just a moment, gentlemen, ma'am. I was going to speak with Flora over there and find out exactly her take on everything. In that moment, like Flora charges through and like grabs his arm and drags him outside, like yelling at the guy who's there walking down the street, explaining what happens with a myriad of amazing curse words, trilingual cursing. So very impressive. And he's trying to like write down important facts.
I'm going to go ahead and retrieve my knives.
Okay.
Couldn't help but notice the sheriff gave you quite a pointed look. Bit of history there?
You know, some men don't take kindly to a woman doing a man's job around here. So I just assume it's something along those lines.
I am shocked.
And I'm gonna grab like the bar towel from behind the bar to wipe off the blades.
As she's doing that, I'm taking the money that was on our poker table and just sliding it into my pocket.
Okay.
Well, very sorry, Don, to sorry you had to see all that happen over here. I'm sure you probably have some delicate sensibilities, being a man of.
He has a kerchief
being a
out
man
and he
of
has
means.
it over his mouth and he's like, this is very distasteful. Ay, qué terrible, no me gusta. Sheriff, do you need me any further? I would like to go home. I am quite distressed.
No, of course, Don. You can do anything you'd like. Thank you. If I have any questions, I will come out and visit you.
You know where to find me,
Yes,
Sheriff.
absolutely.
I am at your disposal at any time. Sir, lady, it was pleasant company while it lasted.
Mm-hmm.
He basically pulls out a couple of calling cards and hands one to each of them.
Okay.
Please, if you need anything, do not hesitate to contact me.
Does this have your address? Like,
Yeah, basically, it's
Yeah.
it's just sort of my name, sort of where the Rancho Santo Domingo, and it's technically this is Victorian era. So that's actually quite common. People have calling cards.
So you could show up at their house and present it to his servants, and
Exactly.
they would know that you were invited and on the up and up.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is an interesting development. Floop.
Nice.
In the pocket, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know what I have. Yes, I have pockets.
No, of course you do.
Of course you do.
I have pants with pockets.
Yeah.
It is the
Have
dream.
them specially made.
Yeah.
the dream.
It is a dream that women still have not achieved today.
That is why this is fantasy, Kimmy.
Yeah, this is why we play role-playing games, so we can have fucking functional pockets and pants. I'm sorry, I let my feminism out for a second. I put it back away. All right. All right. Very good. We have a couple choices at this point. Sam has messaged me she will not be making it tonight, unfortunately.
Oh no.
So I think I want to hold off the actual story of our game because we're on a pretty crucial point until next time.
Sure.
So I'm having fun with this kind of like time warp when you guys met and got together. I'm happy to keep playing here. I'm cool like if we want to end a little early right now, or if we want to do, I think having a scene at your ranch, since you've given them calling cards, Gustavo, would also be kind of a cool thing.
Sure, I have no problem with that. I actually am having fun with this right now.
I'm down.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Okay,
Go.
fun. So, I mean, that would be my guess of where it would happen next, but that doesn't necessarily have to be what happens. I know Carla's eyes started sparkling a little bit when she got an invite to this fancy ranchero.
Oh yes.
So,
yes. So yeah, after I think after Gustavo leaves, I'd say, well, looks like a golden opportunity has fallen right into our laps, pockets. What say you maybe make a call on the Don sometime in the next couple of days?
I think that's a good idea. Again, I think he's hiding more than he's letting known. I'd like to find out what that is.
Agreed. And if we find out some valuable information, then I will certainly be willing to help you with whatever task you have at the bank.
I look forward to holding you to that.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
okay. Very good. So, we're going to just kind of do a little bit of like a cleanup here. So you end up staying at the saloon, obviously, Red. You and Flora kind of bond that night. She's like drinking. You learn some new curse words in different languages. And you kind of, this is where the night you kind of come to your arrangement because she's very thankful for your help that day, and that she like agrees with you the terms that her daughter Lenora like despises later. she regrets.
Right. But she made it, Flora made it while she was drunk. She didn't realize she was agreeing to.
Right. Well,
And also
she,
grateful
and
for...
super
Well, yeah,
grateful.
absolutely. Combination of both, for sure.
Yeah, Flora is an incredible businesswoman.
Oh, absolutely.
So even drunk, she probably wouldn't do something, but she at this point is like, this person is good for business, and they can also protect us. So this is a mutually beneficial arrangement from her point of view. Her daughter doesn't always agree, especially later on, but anyway. So you're there. They remove the bodies. Flora and Lenora kind of clean up. He's trying to get the blood out of the floor. They end up just moving some rugs around eventually because it's wood. So they get it mostly out, but for now they put some rugs down. So what happens? Why don't we have it? So you are going to go with.
I'm going to go with
Okay.
Carla
Okay.
to
All right.
Gustavo's compound at
Okay.
some point.
Gustavo, why don't we have you, while we're waiting for Mike to get back, why don't you just kind of explain, tell us a little bit more about your ranch and kind of how it's laid out a little bit.
Sure.
And also, what is, when you get back to the ranch, kind of what is it that you're doing?
Well, I picture the ranch as sort of like a very Ponderosa style. There's a central home. It's 2 stories. It's nowhere a mansion or something like the Winchesters have, but it's very nice. He has several hands that are mostly Mexican folk and there is basically a very large open grassland area where the sheep, you see several flocks of sheep about, but opposite that there are several corrals and stables where there are a lot of different pinto style horses that are being fed and brushed down and ridden, and just general horse husbandry type stuff going on over there. There's also a tannery and a leatherworking area where we have several people working on basically saddles and sort of the cowboy leatherwork type of stuff. There is basically the ranch has the GD logo that's also their brand over a sort of an arch into the entryway of it. There are several wagons also about. It's a relatively busy ranch, but there's not a whole ton of people working there. And there's also a separate building that you can tell is set up as a servants' quarters, sort of where they all stay. There is a butler-ish type guy named Martin, who is an older man with graying hair that is dressed in a tie and a suit that sort of oversees the house workers. And there's a variety of different people that actually work in the house. From a whole lots of different ethnicities, just anyone available that does good work. It's not ostentatious. There's no real guild or super haughty wealth about it. It's a working ranch. And Gustavo is basically right now you see him. He just has a simple white shirt and his dungarees on and some cowboy type style boots. And he's just standing next to the fence where the horses are being paraded around, and he just basically seems to be just pointing at things and giving instructions.
Nice.
And so on and so forth.
I don't remember the name. There's a specific word on ranches that they used for the manager of the ranch, and I don't remember.
I don't.
Yeah, it'll come to me. I actually was just talking with my students about it last week, and I don't remember what it is now. Excellent. Very cool. So generally for calling cards, once you were invited, you would come, at least in most Victorian times, it's probably a little looser in the West, but you wouldn't dare call before 3 p.m. So it was an afternoon. There were set hours. Unless you were a very close friend, a relative, you'd wait till at least 3 in the afternoon, kind of like a tea time. And basically, once you are given a calling card, it's respectful to do it as soon as possible. So you would probably go the next day, maybe the day after, but definitely within a few days. You would be kind of expected. If you showed up 2 weeks later, it'd be kind of oh, you're here. Oh, you're actually taking me up on this. I thought you'd blown me off.
Yeah.
So it would be expected in the next few days. And yes, so that's etiquette that you would know from this time period.
Well, that works out well, because I'm sure Red is waking up around noon, having stayed up all night drinking with Flora.
Right.
Yeah. I probably didn't stay up drinking, but I went to bed at a reasonable hour and probably have been doing some, maybe a small job before the afternoon, but I think I'd meet up with Red before we headed over there, just to kind of, so I'll pop over to the saloon around 1 o'clock and see how Red's doing.
He's not horizontal. He is vertical. He's a little worse for wear, having stayed up all night with Flora, but he's rallying. He's got his breast fisk. breakfast whiskey. Dear God.
Breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast.
Let's go with breakfast.
Owie.
Slept like a baby, woke up with a boob in my mouth.
Jotting that down for Boggart song ideas.
Cool. So now, Mr. Locke, did that sheriff come back at all last night to ask any more questions?
I didn't see him. I assume he got everything he needed out of his unconscious guest.
Oh, good to know. Now, if we're heading over to the Don's ranch today, I was thinking if you're able to keep him talking, I might be able to get inside his house and maybe take a look around.
I'm sure I can get him to open up a little bit. People tend to like to talk to me.
Good.
Must be my dazzling personality.
Yeah, that'd be it.
Yeah.
As you're clearly hungover. Well, whenever you're ready to head over there.
Yep, I'm just waiting on the boy from the stable to bring me a horse to ride. I didn't really have one when I came in. I told him any horse will do. I mean, I'm sure I can ride anything.
Enter horse.
Yes.
Well, they certainly do have horses at the stables.
Well, that's good.
I'm very snobby about horses.
No,
I'm trying to convey that.
It's very good. It's very good. I love it.
Well, yeah, I'll have my ride available whenever you're ready to go. So.
Well, let's head over there now. I mean, I sent them about 45 minutes ago. It shouldn't take that long to get a horse ready.
How long's the ride from town? How far away is your ranch?
Oh, it's about a half hour, 45-minute ride, depending on where you're coming from. It's not very far away.
So yeah, we'll probably have a couple of drinks before we head out, but
Yeah.
Cool.
Gotta wake up, you know.
Yeah,
Gotta
yeah.
wake up with that. Get that wake up whiskey.
The wake up.
The wake up whiskey. All right, that's gonna be a thing now.
Yep. You mean it's already a thing? Is that just me?
Oh, buddy.
Working from home has its benefits.
But yeah, we'll head over there at the appropriate time.
Okay. Very good. You do so, and you
So,
arrive.
As we ride up, are you outside doing your thing?
Yeah, I'm exactly the way I was. I'm basically standing, like, with my foot up on one part of the fence, just sort of like watching horses get trained and stuff like that.
So as we ride up, I'll jump off Strawberry, and Don Dominguez, your ranch is beautiful.
So I just want to like pause for a second. So you like just like riding up on Strawberry and hopping out of Strawberry is the equivalent of someone like literally driving up in a Ferrari or Lamborghini and like opening the like suicide door slidey thing and just being like, "Hey,
bud."
yeah, let's talk about anything except the amazing vehicle I just jumped out of." Especially to Guillermo, who knows horses, knows these things.
Yeah, it's like everybody out there is just basically watching you ride up in that magnificent beast.
Yeah, there's like this thing where everything kind of stops for a moment at the ranch and everybody pauses and is staring at you.
Yeah.
And then they kind of keep going but are still kind of like looking over their shoulder. And Red probably just hasn't really noticed.
Well, Red is a little bit farther behind. And the best way I can put it, thinking back in my movie knowledge, is Billy Crystal and Slitty Slickers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like
on the giant Clydesdale.
Yeah, like the giant Clydesdale, and like his butt keeps smacking the seat.
It's not great.
It's like, yes, this is an attractive horse, but
I'm not even sure it's a horse.
Yeah, all your boys are probably very into my horse.
Yeah. No, I mean,
for horse brings all the boys to the
My
yard.
horse is amazing.
Look at my horse.
What a throwback. Yes.
Oh gosh. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about it unless anyone else brings attention to it.
Senorita Winthrop. What a magnificent animal.
Oh, this is Strawberry. She's been with me for a very long time.
I have seen many horses. I have been to Europe, but I have not met her equal.
Well, thank you very much. she's a very good horse.
She wouldn't happen to be for sale.
What would Strawberry do? So I think Strawberry kind of gives you a haughty look for that one.
I imagine Mad Horse side eye.
Afraid not. The only reason I can reason I can make my livelihood is because of old Strawberry here.
Actually, you're getting proud and a little bit of vain vibes off Strawberry right now. She knows that everybody in this ranch is looking at her, and she does not mind. And you can see she's like arching her neck a little, like more than usual, and she's kind of flipping her tail.
If I had to get to know a new horse, it'd be years before anyone would take me on. I couldn't imagine parting ways with her.
Well, far be it from me to remove your livelihood, and also such a magnificent creature. She must be your... If I had an animal like this, it would probably be my best friend. Oddly intelligent eyes. A little bit off-putting.
True.
You don't mind if she just grazes in your area, do you?
Certainly. If you think that she gets along well with the other horses, I would recommend against it. We are still breaking some of the stallions. They are moody.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much about her. She knows to keep her distance.
I will not tell you how to go about your business, but mikasa sukasa.
Well, I very much appreciate that, Don. Can I call you Don?
Gustavo.
Now, Gustavo, you wouldn't mind if I go ahead and popped inside just to freshen up. It's been a dusty ride here from town, and
Of course, Martin. Please escort the lady indoors and to the into the washroom. She would like to freshen up. It is good to see you again, my friend, and also a magnificent mountain of an animal.
Yes, he is very sturdy.
So, Gustavo, you probably notice Strawberry, he just kind of like lets Strawberry just kind of like wander to graze. Mm-hmm. It's the first time you've ever seen a horse let out on a grassy like field or grassy area, not graze. The horse just kind of stands there watching, and then like looks around, looking at stuff. Doesn't seem interested in eating the grass at all.
Okay.
For non-horse people, that's weird as fuck. Just FYI.
That is totally weird.
Yeah, because horses are obsessed with eating all the time. Yeah. Sorry, you were complimenting the horse.
And I basically call a couple of men over and goes,
I just thought of something amazing.
what?
Okay, we're gonna do a one shot where everybody plays as their horses. You won't be able to be a face character.
I won't. I won't. You're the no! I shot myself in the foot. I'm gonna be a tank.
You're the bruiser.
I'm so excited. All right, sorry, I totally derailed
so
her.
good.
I totally derailed.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
it just struck me like lightning, and I had to share my gleeful thought.
It'll be an exercise. I'm very excited.
Yes, it's very good.
You can leave your horse with my men. Come, join me at the house.
Yes. I once I descend this mountain, I will be right inside.
Do you require assistance? It's a long way down.
If you wouldn't mind.
One of my men basically just puts his thing and just helps you down off the monster.
Thank you. I am much more comfortable with smaller animals.
This is a good sturdy horse.
Yes.
This is more of a draft animal, not much of a riding animal.
He gets the job done. He gets me where I'm going.
I'd be happy to sell you a Surrey.
Maybe. Today's for pleasure. Let's not mix business and pleasure yet.
Of course. Please, join me.
I look forward to it.
And I have some of the servants at the house bring out some sangria and some charcuterie from the basement.
Very nice. Very classy. I approve.
So once I get to the washroom, so clearly I'm not there to wash up. So I'm basically going to be looking for as I head towards the washroom, I'm looking for like an office or.
Well, he sent his.
Yeah, Martine is escorting you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the washroom.
as I walk with Martinez into your estate, basically looking for closed doors, office.
Oh, there's an office and a study. The door is open. It's got a large oak table with, a blotter and the ink set, and there's a library full of books by it. There's a small table with what looks like some various liquors and glasses. There's actually a mapamundi, a globe in there as well. And there are some paintings on the wall of family members, so on and so forth. And actually, there's a big painting behind the desk that actually has like this sort of crazy-looking black stallion, like cool-looking horse, that is backlit by the moon on a cliff, sort of type of thing. It's just very horsey and cool-looking.
So is Martinez going to stand outside the washroom?
No, he just basically takes you to the washroom and tells you that they'll be serving refreshments in the porch outside, just because it's cooler in the breeze outside, and you can to join them whenever you're ready.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You're guests of the dawn, so he really thinks they must be okay.
Oh, you goofball. So yeah, basically once Martinez has left the area, I'm gonna pop on over to the office and hope no one sees me.
Well, why don't you roll stealth? More than hope.
Hell yeah. Oh, waiting 4 games to roll stealth.
No, you've rolled it before.
I know. No, 4 games. I rolled it in the first game.
Yeah.
That's true.
Let's see. There's 2 zeros. Oh, and
Let's see,
look.
3 8s.
Well, here's 2 more zeros, so that's 4.
4 tens.
4 tens.
That's probably pretty good. I'm going to say that in a fairly empty house with most people outside, you can probably get to the office and nobody's going to notice you.
Cool. See, I'm going to sneak in there and just kind of close the door behind me. Not close it, but kind of just like tap it with my foot to I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Cover the view, basically. Cover the view. Anyway,
Obscure the view.
Obscure. That's the word I was looking for.
I'm a teacher. I know stuff sometimes. I still can't remember the Spanish word for the person who runs a ranch, though. There's a specific term.
There is.
I'll know it. I'm gonna post it on the forum when I get home tonight.
There are some slang terms for it that I'm remembering, but I'm not remembering the proper term.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking through your office for any information that might belie nefarious dealings or anything naughty you've been up to.
There's just paperwork of just inventory of livestock. There's promissory notes, just the regular type of stuff that you'd find there. There's a safe in the wall you discover. If you want to open it up, it has some cash in it and some deeds.
Oh, you didn't even let me lockpick it. I did do a very good job lockpicking, I can promise you that. I got at least 3 zeros on it.
Fantastic.
3 tens. Well, yeah, I guess I'm just looking around for anything that might show that you've done naughty things to people in town, like you've screwed people out of money, or you're
Actually, quite the opposite.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like you're going to find...
He's a real Boy Scout.
Yeah, like there's probably receipts from charitable donations, stuff like he's actually, which is sort of unheard of at the time, instead of just having tenants like live on his land, like once... I'm sorry, I'm speaking for you.
No, go for it.
But like there's evidence that him and his family before him like have actually given land to people who've been loyal to their family, and servants like actually own some of the land that they live on, rather than just being sort of like indentured servants, which would be very common on ranches at the time. Things like that. Fill out more.
There are actually some ex-slaves here that he granted their freedom, and you see that there's.
So he wouldn't be able to grant their freedom, but he might have given them sanctuary if they're fleeing.
The thing is, he was like, I'll buy them off you, and then just just gave them their freedom. Just like there was somebody coming through that actually had some slaves and says, how much? And
Nice.
just basically, and then just offered them a job.
Okay, fantastic.
Really, he just is sort of an honest businessman, he's a very successful person, and he likes to share that success with his people, and you can tell. And even if Red probably noticed that all the people around there are pretty happy. They don't seem like they're working hard and bitter about it. They're like doing the job that they do, and they actually like doing it. And in a lot of sense, Gustavo considers most of the people that work for him his family. I mean, there's nothing shady. I mean, he will do hard business, and he will get the best price he possibly can for what he's selling, but he doesn't really do anything that would be cheaty or bad. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Well, Carla's actually a little disappointed. She was hoping to find some dirty business here, but all she's finding is, and this is kind of a first, honestly. Like, she doesn't usually, when she gets into these like rich guys' houses and searches around, she finds that they've got like they've had people killed, or they've had like, you know,
There are skeletons in the closet.
There is something in here that I'm actually going to ask if you can roll to find.
Okay. Roll to find
your
the
perception,
thing.
or actually it would probably be scrutiny.
Yeah, or like, do you have something about searching, or?
I mean, there's perception, scrutiny.
Yeah, those are the
Yeah.
two ones.
I think it would be more
Perception is
scrutiny.
to spot something. Scrutiny is to search for something.
Yeah, so scrutiny, I think you'd be searching for it.
Two eights.
Yeah, I mean, you're not... It takes you a few minutes, but you're also not in like a huge rush. You don't have all day, but...
But you see that along the equator of the globe, there's a seam.
So I think she's gonna just like, you know, do a once over on the globe, look for like any kind of like latch that could release it, if there's anything like that, or she'll try and like maybe pull it apart, or like try and get one of her lockpick tools in the seam to split it. And would any of that work? Should I roll for it? Like,
I mean...
You a lockpick thingy, because I figured this is probably something you trying to overcome a security method.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was kind of looking to Jim to be like,
yeah.
it's magical, so you can't lockpick magic.
yeah, I have 5 zeros. 5 tens.
Yeah.
Did you roll 4 tens?
I rolled 2 tens and I have 3 window
Oh, okay.
dice.
I was like...
No, I'm sorry. I have 3 hard dice.
Oh, hard dice, yeah.
So 5 tens.
So basically, you put your finger on Spain, and you put your finger on towards the south of Mexico, and push down, and the thing sort of unlocks.
Oh.
And you see basically there's some paperwork in there. There seems to be a hand-drawn map of what looks like the Winchester compound.
Nice.
A list of personnel that work at the Winchester compound. There's some there's some notes in a language you do not know that is totally weird and kind of pictography.
Cool. Yeah, I put it all back and lock the globe back off and head out to the porch.
Okay.
What have you all been discussing while I've been snooperooing?
So it takes you a minute to get off your horse, right?
Well, yeah, it's going to take a minute. I think we do make it to the porch. Does Martine make an appearance on the porch?
Yeah, he comes out and
Okay.
he's directing the people that are bringing out the drinks and the food. And you can see that a couple of guys actually have brought out a table and some chairs and the tablecloth to put out for everything and set it all up.
As they're working, I'm going to try to get a read on Martine, since, I mean, the person who runs the house has to know everything about the house. So let's see how that goes. Let's do this the right way. Let's do hard dice, one wiggle dice. Cool. That's going to be 3 10s.
Very nice.
So I'm basically trying to get... I'm trying to cross-reference what I got from his brain with what Martine might know.
Okay.
So if there's any connection to the city of silver and gold that I'm pulling out of Martine, any connection to this wildcat or jaguar or whatever I pulled, trying to like do that cross-reference matrix kind of moment, like...
Martine know?
Nobody here
Okay.
knows anything about
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So you don't get a city of gold from Martine. You don't get anything. Actually, you get flashes of him being like very honored to work at this house. He respects his boss. He sometimes, there's a few moments sometimes where he thinks his boss is a little bit not privileged, but a bit soft. Like having been raised in this life of privilege, having seen him a couple times, like, you know, see someone get hurt and like hold up his handkerchief to his face, things like that. Well, that doesn't make him lose respect for him in any way, and it's also not something that it's something that he would expect from someone who's been a Don their whole life and raised. Because at this time there was an incredibly rigid caste system in Mexico. So it's like you were born into privilege. There's no bootstrap in it. Like you were a servant, you were a Don, you were, there wasn't the middle class thing. There were some people who did become rich, but there was like a level of privilege that came with birth. And that is one of the things that he does have as a Don. And a lot of it ties into like Spanish blood and things like that.
And your whiteness.
Yeah, basically. What at the time is considered, to be very white, and then you'd come to the United States and you wouldn't be white anymore. It's
Exactly.
very confusing. But so there's a bit there's respect that comes with that. There's awe that comes with that. He's glad that this is an incredibly good position for him to have, and he's treated well, and he knows there's an assurance that he knows he will be treated well for the rest of his life. So, yeah. And a lot of boring stuff about his day-to-day, and
who cares?
yeah.
There is one thing that he's concerned that sometimes his boss leaves and doesn't come back the wee hours of the morning. He wonders what he does.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit of wondering about that.
Okay.
How old is he?
Martin? He's in his late 40s, so
Okay.
he's fairly old for this
Yeah,
time period.
this time period.
I wasn't sure if he was an Alfred or not. So you're-
He may become that, but I actually want to develop that. in
Yeah.
the game.
Sure. No, perfect. Makes perfect sense.
Carla was the oldest, wasn't she? Isn't that?
I think so.
I'm
Yeah.
22.
I think I was also 22 or 23.
Yeah.
I forget. I wrote it down somewhere.
Yeah, that's not something that's like terribly important in this
Sorry,
time period.
I'm
But
just thinking about. I've been thinking like Don Dominguez is like a distinguished older gentleman, but he's not. He's a young hotshot.
No, yeah, you think of like the 50s Zorro
Yeah.
serials. That's sort of what he looks like.
or just think of the movie Zorro 2. It was a very good movie. It wasn't a very good movie. I love that movie very much, but it wasn't a very good movie.
I love Zorro the Game Blade. It's the favorite version of Zorro. My mom took me to see that in the theater.
That's
when I was a
awesome.
little kid. This is the best movie ever. It's so fun. But yeah, so no, I'm being a gracious host, and please enjoy. I'm very happy for the company.
Well, you seem to have no lack of personnel here. Are you quite lonely? They all seem quite happy to be here.
Oh no, these people are basically my family. But it's you do understand once you see the same people over and over every day, especially when you're in a relatively isolated area like this. It's good to have change.
I couldn't agree more. That's why I like moving town to town. Go where the money is. Where the wind takes me. Or the wind, if you will.
Clever. I am tied to what my father has done, and his father, and his father, and his father. But it is a comfortable life. I enjoy it.
It's like, yes, it's a comfortable life with your fantastic house and your fantastic wealth and all your land.
Yeah. But to him, it's like, that's normalsies.
Right, exactly.
I think this is Carla can come back out now.
Okay.
She's-
Yeah, that's good. They're just making small talk, so.
Yeah. Gustavo, your house is beautiful. It's a lovely, lovely estate.
Oh, thank you. This is nothing compared to my father's estate in Tabasco. It is, but it serves my purpose, and I am very happy here. It is beautiful land and beautiful country.
Well, now that we're away from prying eyes and the townsfolk, tell me, what do you really think of the Winchesters?
And that's another one where you sort of close in on his eyes, and there's sort of like a squint of like.
Okay.
He goes. In what respect do you ask? I mean,
Well,
Winchesters are good businessmen,
I
good
haven't-
ranchers.
I haven't been here for long, but what I've managed to make from other folks in town is that they aren't particularly well loved among the folks around here, and I'm interested to get a perspective of a man of equal footing with those folks.
Who's clearly more well-loved than they are. I mean, by all intents and purposes, it seems like you should be the main attraction in town. Why the Winchesters?
Well, if you've obviously not been to the Winchester Ranch. The mansion is expensive.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
The amount of wealth is, well, it makes my ranchito seem quite humble. But I discovered that a man does not truly want wealth. They want to be free. A man truly doesn't want power. He wants to be free. Here, I try to allow myself and my people as much freedom as possible, since that is what makes people happy. And I find that happy people do happy work and will always protect your interests. It is simply a difference of philosophy. The Winchesters, on the other hand, believe that power is to be wielded and to be lorded over others. We just we do business in different ways. Maybe one is better than the other. I do not know. I am not here to judge.
Maybe someone in this town should be the judge.
The Winchesters have their hands in every single business here, and there is no one who is... no one, but there are very few people in this town that are not indebted to him in some way, shape, or form, and that is by his own machination.
And you? Are you indebted?
I came here with my own personal wealth. There was no reason to beg, borrow, or steal anything, and I am not beholden to him in any way, and I choose to remain that way. There have been some attempts to involve themselves into my business, but luckily I have been savvy enough to avoid that consequence. Why so much interest in the Winchesters, especially for newcomers here?
Well, like I said, they seem to be the main attraction in town. I just like to know what I'm getting myself into staying here for a while.
And basically you say that, and Gustavo's sort of like attitude and demeanor sort of shifts and changes. And he tells, and he very sincerely, he sort of looks you straight in the eye and goes, "These are not people to be fooled with. Be careful. They are powerful, and they are very vindictive to those who wish to meddle in their business."
Was that only for Red, or did I get that?
No, you got that as well, but he asked the question, so I looked him straight in the eye and replied to it. Tread carefully. You can mess with their hands. They do not seem to care. But the Sons and the main Winchester, they have the cut of wolves to me. They are predators. They are not sheep.
Well, there is no challenge in fighting a sheep.
You fleece them all the time. I know of my business. As a shepherd, you know the difference between a sheep and a wolf. I got the measure of you the moment I saw you.
I don't know what you mean.
You, Miss Winthrop, and he raises a glass, are still quite the mystery.
Well,
you are a lovely woman with a lovely horse. Why do you choose to work so hard?
well, you mentioned that so few in town are unwilling to take a stand against the Winchesters because of vested interests they might have.
Do you seek to come to this town to disturb the status quo?
Seems to me like we have a few people here who have no vested interest in the Winchester estate. Look, all I'm looking for is a little bit of information on these fellas. You don't have to worry about how or why, but I'm thinking if maybe something were to happen with their business, could benefit you.
While we're talking about Winchesters,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to get a read on Gustavo.
Okay.
Specifically about his dealings with the Winchesters.
Okay.
See if there's anything he's not telling us. Or get more information. That is going to be... That was a 10. 4 10s.
Yes.
You see nighttime,
Mhm.
you see no moon and starlight, you see a large mansion moving towards the mansion, basically going into a cellar area and trying to opening the door, trying to go downstairs and literally being tossed back onto his back when he tried to enter it. And sort of you just see like spinning and stars, and that's what you see.
Did I get a glimpse of what you looked like?
No, you're seeing through his eyes.
Got it. Right. Okay, that's fair.
Because you're actually seeing his memories. So
Yeah.
I'm figuring.
That's fair.
But you see sort of like a bare forearm and black gauntlets,
Okay.
leather gauntlets, and a strange sort of obsidian-looking knife.
Hmm.
What information would you like to know? I am happy to share what I can. I am no friend to the Winchesters, but if you wish to act independently, who am I to say? Other than my warning to be very careful. That house is very well guarded by things that things and people that are difficult to imagine.
At this point, Carla has already tried to break into the mansion as well.
Yeah, I feel like when you say that, like we get like in a movie, there's a thing that like the audience gets cut to that the people actually in the story don't see, where it's like cut to and there's like it zooms in the house kind of like through an open door that a servant's closing, and you just get like the audience get like the shot of Mr. Winchester sitting at this large desk, and then he kind of like almost like kind of like looks up, but like not at the camera, like slightly past it, and then it's like boom, we cut back to you guys. Cool.
And
I feel like you guys probably just have like conversation for a while. I don't know, and I don't know because you're not super trusting characters, so I'm not sure if in this particular day, at this particular visit, you would like open up and tell everyone your secrets.
right. No,
So you've gleaned some information, Red, by reading their minds, and I feel like we can kind of just, I don't know, montage this a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
So I feel like we're gonna have some like shots of maybe you guys going for rides together, different thing, like just sort of like these, not necessarily as cheesy as like an 80 friendship montage, but like slowly like trust is being built. Maybe you two doing some like, like you gambling a little bit, maybe them getting you out of trouble once, like things like that. So just these like short little glimpses of things. So like I'd like for each of you to explain one short like 15-second like little situation that is in this montage. So think for a second, and whoever's ready first can go. Like, what is one thing that you would do with other people in this group as like a montage thing? There's probably not dialogue over it. It's like to music.
I see.
I'm definitely going to race Gustavo at one point. We're gonna have a little race with one of his stallions.
No, it's pintos. I don't have stallions.
You said you were breaking the stallions.
Pintos are a color.
Oh, pinto, but they're yeah. Well, a stallion is just a male horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you could have a stallion that's a pinto.
A stallion. It's a pinto. Yeah.
And we're gonna race, and I'm going to leave you in the dust.
And I'm gonna be a good sport about it and laugh and like that is incredible.
Yeah.
And I am basically, and I have apples as do you mind, and I try to feed one to Strawberry.
Does Strawberry eat apples?
Heck yeah, she loves that apple.
I give her an apple, and I rose in the middle and says, "You are magnificent."
She doesn't get a lot of apples out here in the West.
No.
So you give her an apple, she's very into this.
Yeah, you can tell that like Strawberry likes Gustavo. Mm-hmm. Like there's the it's my biggest fan. Like that sort of like vibe every time Gustavo's around.
But also Gustavo, it's kind of weird because it isn't like just the admiration; it's like full on respect.
Yeah.
For the animal.
Yeah.
She
knows that.
Almost as if she was like an actual person. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he is just like starry-eyed at that horse. Just like, oh my god.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Next montage moment.
I think we are in town and enjoying a night at the theater. I think a traveling group has come into the saloon before me at the saloon and having drinks and laughing at the show, what's happening, can dancers or mini, vaudeville type scenes.
Yeah, so there'd be a bunch of small acts all together. There'd be dancing. There'd probably be like Shakespearean monologues. It would between all these different
scene in
things.
Tombstone.
Yeah, basically, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a scene of Gustavo riding up to the Pueblo El Jaguar at night, and you see him sort of like sneak in there, and he grabs a knife and he basically sort of like cuts his finger, and you see that he basically scrawls like a symbol with the blood, and this door opens, and he goes inside, and you see Red just in the background, just his head sort of peering around the corner.
Oh, like he's like, yeah.
I knew shit was up. Yeah.
And he basically walks up in there and he tries to do the same thing, but it doesn't work. And then there's basically just the figure of the masked El Jaguar in the shadows watching him do that. And then there's Sind back in the
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Nifty.
And, you know, I had an idea of how Carla and Gustavo would finally figure out each other.
Sure. Add it to our montage.
Yeah, do it.
And I think Carla is out one night doing recon on the Winchester mansion, and she's kind of like trying to go for a window that she hasn't tried to break into yet. And when she gets the window, she failed her stealth check, and there's a Winchester who grabs her, and then who is immediately snagged by a whip and yanked away.
Okay, sounds
Perfect.
And then, hey, the Spider-Man like
Nice, pointing at each other. Very good. I'm going to add a couple moments in this montage in here. I'm going to add a moment of like Carla May in Hepzibah's like sitting room, visiting with Grania, like just chatting and getting to know each other, like laughing as they have some like wine or something like that, because that's how women bond. And like scenes like that, and because I want to make sure she's in a lot of this too. It's like we're building these friendships, even though Samantha couldn't be here tonight. And there'll be some where there's definitely, I want to have a thing where she's in playing a poker game with you, and she's just like keeps pulling out gold coins, and you just think you are like
I'm winning so much money.
You're like set, you're planning your retirement, like, and there's just this, and she just doesn't seem to be stressed out or care at all. Like,
This is why I don't play with her anymore.
yeah. And then she's like, okay, you know, I've got to be going. Like, I'll see you later. Nice game. We'll play again sometime. She like walks out. And then like the purse that you've been dumping the money into, you like reach down and it's like empty. And you're just like, but she, and you like cannot figure out. You just like a like mind blown expression.
Yep, that absolutely happens.
Yes. And I think, for Gustavo, I think hers with you is going to be a little bit more just like kindness. I feel like when she first got to town, she was kind of looking for a place to stay, and you did introductions for her with Hepzibah. And you kind of like showed her around a little bit her first day, and like very kind of like caring, gentlemanly way. And you like kind of vouched for her with Hepzibah. So cool. Right. I think that will be our ending point for tonight. Next time, in 2 weeks, we will pick back up, and we'll have Samantha, who will hopefully be with us by then, do our recap so we can jump back into our story. This is a great kind of time warp back. It was very fun to see you guys getting to know each other better. That was very fun. Very good. All right, I think that's everything. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say?
No.
Okay.
Happy. This was fun.
Yes. If you didn't know already, we played this weird kind of made-up thing to get this campaign started. I've actually made the weird made-up thing that we did into an actual game.
It's so much fun.
It's very fun. It's called Dekuma. So if you want to go to goldenlassogames.com, you can sign up for the mailing list there. You can read a little bit more about it. We actually did a one-shot of it last week. So if you check out the one-shot feed, and you can hear or see us play it. It's very fun, and it uses tarot cards and basically does the same sort of thing where you create a location like we did with our map here, creates character connections, and also creates drama in the world around the group. So
it's like a session zero aid.
It is, exactly. It's the game before the game, or as someone who's much smarter than me coined, your R&D for your RPG. So good, right?
Very nice.
All right. So anyway, so check that out. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. And JackerCon, January 22nd through 29th. It is our online convention.
January?
So, June. Not January, June 22nd. I get that every time. I get that wrong. I keep changing months, but I'm sorry. June 22nd through 29th. It is our online convention. It is completely run by amazing Happy Jacks listeners and fans. Check out happyjacks.org/forum if you want to sign up, if you want to play. There'll be games happening. There are people running in all time zones all around the world. So there will be a bunch of games that week. If you're interested in running a game, if you're interested in playing in a game, no matter what time zone you're in, there's probably going to be a game in your time zone at some point that week. So check that out. Again, that's JackerCon, and that's happyjacks.org/forum. And I think that's everything I have to plug. So thank you very much. Goodbye. We'll see you later.
If I told you the things I've seen on my ways, if I told you the things I've done in my days, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So it's best I just don't say. I've lived 1,000 lives, I piloted 1,000 souls, I killed and fought and died just for a single